Do you fear Necrontia?
Fear? Does a king fear a rodent? Why should I take issue with trifling pests? Why should I have any reason to fear this flesh blight before me? My wrath is indomitable. Your meddlesome boasts are nothing. You are nothing.
One blade is all it will take.
But one does know when it sees a rabid animal, and when better tools are needed to exterminate it.
The Necron skulks backwards off the dais and away into the shadows.
What is time to beings like us anyways?
He wanted to tell him that it was over, that the fight was won and to surrender. But in that briefest of moments, Corey slipped under his sword arm and came up behind him in a blur of fluid and practiced speed. A strange sensation, like cold string, suddenly wrapped around Voslow's throat. He felt a foot dig in sharp to the back of one of his legs, and with a jerk, the master duelist fell backwards onto one knee, his fingers now trying to find this strange weapon gripping his neck. He tried to call out to Corey, but he couldn't push the wind through his constricting throat. Feverishly, he worked at the unyielding wire with his hands, and managed to get 3 fingers from his buckler hand between his neck and this weapon of assassins. It was little relief, and he could feel the blood bulging in his face and pounding at his head. Corey drove a knee into the middle of Voslow's back, between the shoulders, and pushed, pulling the cord even tighter. He could feel it digging into his neck on one side, and the sudden eruption of wet heat on his fingers meant the same there. "I didn't deserve this life," Corey howled, raging at the sky, and against cruel fate, and whatever was or wasn't listening. Why? Why did my sister have to die? What was the point? The pits? The torture? I was supposed to be something else. His voice was breaking into tears, but the grip of the wire was only strengthening. Voslo looked up at the fading world around him, up at the Bloodstar Cross in the sky above. The world was slowly being consumed by black clouds and the throbbing in his head. He wished he could tell Corey the answer. He wished he could push out just one last piece of advice, and tried, but the sound wouldn't come. Corey's voice wailed and raged, and then dulled, as though it were a sound from far, far away. As the darkness swallowed his senses, Voslo Stepman wished he could have shared his last thought with the young man. Meaningless. And somewhere in the darkness he thought he heard his mother's voice, as fresh and new as it had been all those decades ago.
So, you've made your point. Kehoe is all yours. If you don't mind, I do have other individuals to be harassed by today.
Point? There ain't no point except to watch you get hit by that train. Emery here's never seen anything hit by a train before. Nope, never.
Really? We've been missing out. The splatter is something to behold. It's really quite, spectacular. And, since it's a special occasion, why not maximize the carnage? That is, I think you may have just enough time to add a certain pig to the mix.
Well, that's an idea. Careful, he's a tricky one.
No, he ain't. He's an idiot. Can't take a mad pig to market anyhow.
Might as well get rid of 2 crackpots with 1 train, like Ma would say. And don't you move from that spot, or I'll shoot you, then watch you get hit by a train.